Hello from Kettle Farms. I'm Crystal.
And I'm Donald.
And we are going to give you 5 chicken tips in 5 minutes. And this is, yeah, the guineas just went and hollered. And this is kind of our personal knowledge base that we're sharing with you guys from owning chickens for so long. But hopefully these are tips that will help some of you in your chicken flock environment. But if you have additional ones, feel free to create your own video of 5 chicken tips in 5 minutes, and then we'll all be chicken experts. So tip number 1. Is that mine?
Were you reading off these, like...
We could do one, yeah, we could alternate.
Oh, okay.
So tip number 1.
Is mine?
No, it's mine.
Oh.
Use as much kitchen scraps as possible, including meat. And we are fortunate enough on our farm to have a pretty good deal with one of the local restaurants here, and we're going to try to get more, where we get a lot of their scraps, and we pick up a bucket once a week, and we feed that to our chickens, and it includes all kinds of good vegetables and fruits and meat that's not rotten. Like, we do have a stickler. We don't want to give our chickens rotten meat. You can give meat that's going bad, but you don't want to give them rotten meat, I guess. Like, you can cook it if it's starting to go bad in your freezer and give it to your chickens, but that's a good way to save money on feed too, because chicken feed can be pretty expensive, and it's a good way to get them fresh food without having to spend so much on dry feed. So that's number 1. Number 2.
This is a way, this really works if you have a lot of chickens. And this is how we keep track, or we're starting to keep track of age. Well, what we'll do is we'll, like, say year 1, we'll buy 2 to 3 breeds. That's it. And it'll be, like this year we bought Americana, Speckled Sussex, and Black Australorp. That way, year 3, we can buy those same 3 breeds. And then when they become pullets, we can put them in with the chickens and cull the older Americana, Speckled Sussex, and Black Australorp. That way, especially if you're in it for egg production, you want to keep them rotating out.
Yeah.
Then it's just an easier way, instead of banding or trying to remember, what was this one? I think this one was that one. No, I don't know.
Yeah, and that way, like, if you have three sets of 3, you know, every 3 years you're replacing the same breed.
Yep.
So it's helpful. Tip number 3 is to plant beneficial herbs like basil, oregano, and chamomile. You can plant either outside of your chicken coop, and then you can clip them and trim them and feed them to your chickens, or use them in your chicken coop. Or you can technically plant them in maybe like a raised bed in your coop, and then cover it with like a hardware cloth so they can, maybe not hardware cloth, maybe chicken wire. They can get to it, but they can't destroy it. The reason I suggest basil is it's an antibacterial, but it also repels flies and mosquitoes. Chamomile will repel fleas. It can kill lice. It's an antiseptic and anti-inflammatory. And then
supposed to be mites.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, why'd you put mice down there? It kills mites.
With a T.
Mites. And oregano is a natural antibiotic. It helps fight the avian flu, salmonella, and it strengthens their immune system. And one thing I like to do, although my chickens haven't really converted to doing this yet, is when it got really hot one summer, I would like freeze oregano in ice and then let them pick at it. But my chickens apparently don't like to pick at ice very much, so that might not be a good part of the tip there.
Tip number 4. Don't over-treat your chickens. And specifically with, like, protein, like mealworms. They'll get sick. They have too much protein. And then it's going to look like it's bad. It's not good.
We had those chickens that were donated to us that all she fed them were pies and cakes. And they just got the worst pasty butt. They smelled, and they're getting better now, but they were just so fat and gross that it was not good. So you don't want to give them too much of a good thing. They have to have a regulated diet like humans. Yeah. So. And
the main issue is they'll get diarrhea. Mm-hmm. And with the chickens, because they don't sweat, that's it. It'll be bad for their health when they get diarrhea.
And then our last tip, tip number 5, is you should never smell your chickens. If you smell ammonia, you need to add more carbon sources or clean out your coop. So a lot of people think that, if you have chickens, you're going to smell chicken poop. And technically you're not supposed to if you're doing it right, because the carbon will help absorb the smells and the ammonia. And of course that's like a type of composting anyway. You shouldn't smell your compost pile either, by the way. And then, obviously providing fresh air and airflow within the coop helps to, not only does it help with the smell, but in the wintertime it's crucial, because if you have a coop that's enclosed, and I guess this is an extra tip, the moisture in the air could actually cause hypothermia in the chickens if they don't have free airflow to prevent that moisture from building up. Kind of like when you're in a truck and the window starts fogging up. You don't want to create that type of environment for your chickens. So that is our 5.5 tips in 5 minutes for chickens. If you have one that you know of that we didn't list here, feel free to make your own video or comment below. We would love to learn what other people's chicken tips are and see if anybody else would be interested in doing this. If I was going to tag someone else to also give 5 chicken tips in 5 minutes, I think I would tag, who do we know that has chickens? D over at Naturally NC, I know has chickens. Amy at A Farmish Life, I think has chickens because she does awesome chicken smoking videos. And then a third person I will tag would be, I'm going to tag JB from Davis Family Farm. Jennifer is a newer chicken person and she has her own unique environment in which she's raising chickens. So I want to tag her, see if she has any tips that she's learned now that she is a newer chicken owner. So again, I'm Crystal.
I'm Donald.
And we are Copper Kettle Farms.